department. On behalf of IIHMR Bangalore, I welcome you all to meet your industry mentor. We all want to be knowledgeable citizens of the society. We have the aspiration to become the best version of ourselves as well as contribute to the society we live in. There are many industries where we can grow, and healthcare is one of them. When we think healthcare, we think doctors, nurses, hospitals, clinics, and so on. But the industry is not just limited to providers. It is in fact very vast. Healthcare comprises of hospitals, medical devices, research, consulting, health policies, telemedicine, medical tourism, health insurance, medical equipment, to name a few. The industry is diverse and the opportunities are numerous. There are different verticals for you to grow within this industry. Along with industry, the needs of the industry also grow. One of those needs is healthcare professionals who are knowledgeable, creative, and well-trained. To fulfill this need, IIHMR Bangalore strives to be at the forefront to provide the industry with well-trained healthcare professionals for various sectors in the industry like hospitals, health IT, and pharmaceutical. The industry mentoring is focused on developing career management skills and identifying career goals. The mentor uses one's own skills, experience, and knowledge in training students to have a clear perspective of their future career development. Therefore, we have today's session scheduled, and it will be moderated by Dr. Deepa Shree MR. Padma Kumar, will you play the slide for Dr. Deepa Shree? Yeah, thank you. Dr. Deepa Shree MR is a healthcare management professional with a background in Ayurveda. Within her 6+ years of professional experience in health project implementation, training, and documentation, she has worked in various capacities as Director of Projects, Researcher, and CSR Executive. She has completed her training on continual quality improvement, tools, and techniques by QCI. She has been instrumental in organizing training and workshop on implementation of NABH accreditation at IIHMR Bangalore. Ma'am, I extend you warm welcome and I request you to take over the session.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you very much. Welcome to all the participants. And why do we need an industry mentor? That's the question, which I think to answer this question, we have scheduled a webinar to understand what's an industry mentor and how this relationship goes to build a student's career, right? So an industry mentor provides you a unique opportunity for students to directly connect with the current industry perspective. They interact with students to provide deeper insight into professional environments and their futures. IIHMR Bangalore is known for industry academia interface, has strong industry connect to leverage students' career growth and to build their professionals' networking skills. Here, I would like to invite Mr. Garu Prasad, who is the first speaker for today, and I request Padma Kumar to share the screen. Mr. Garu Prasad is an MPhil graduate from Madras University. He has over 22 years of experience in sales and marketing, traveled to more than 17 countries for healthcare marketing and products and services. Expert in unique marketing techniques and customized selling strategy for each market. Previously, he has been worked at Eastern Medkit, New Delhi, Bionex at Hyderabad, Fortis Healthcare has an international marketing head, etc. Presently, he is working at Narayana Health City as a group head, international marketing since 2013 and has a visiting faculty at IIHMR Bangalore. He has published papers in journals of national and international repute. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Guru sir, you have been
Yeah.
a visiting faculty for IIHMR Bangalore, and we would like to know, how do you help students to build their career in hospital management? The first, and what is your role in grooming up them?
Thank you so much. Yeah. So thank you so much for this opportunity. First of all, it gives me a great pleasure to address all the audience, students, and my fellow colleagues here. Uh, like we feel when you look at healthcare today, it is in the highly in a transformation stage. Whether it is marketing, whether it is digital, wherever it is. Today, we often speak about digital. It is not only digital, like a lot of artificial intelligence is going to come inside every aspect of healthcare, especially hospital management. So whenever we interact with the students of IHMR, so we have a lot of updates. One very important thing is that as we are in touch with the industry, so we are presently working, so we see a lot of transformation. Every step, every day brings us a lot of learning in the hospital, not only in sales and marketing, in the sections of OPD, IPD, you've got administration, operations, digital department, we have projects, we have quality, certifications, auditing. So a lot of innovations, a lot of transformation is presently happening. We are presently fortunate that we are presently in this kind of transition stage. So all this knowledge, it is not only that we have read in books. It is a practical experience that is being shared with the students, and any questions that they have is being addressed from time to time. Apart from this, a lot of interns when they come inside hospital, since we have wide contacts inside the hospital industry. So the students, whenever we get from IHMR, they are being connected to various hospitals in various departments. Thereby, their knowledge is being enriched. Like whatever they are being taught in the universities, whatever they are being taught in the academic classrooms, they can experience a practical thing in the exactly in the field whenever they join for an internship or any kind of other opportunities that whatever we have. So that's one of the things that we have. Especially I would like to quote couple of things today. When you look at pre-COVID era, so we have seen patients walking inside the hospital, they were not aware about the medical records, the electronic medical records, or the video consultations. Today, every patient that we see, whenever they walk inside the hospital, they preferably would like to have a virtual consultation and the medical records to be loaded in the mobile. So, in fact, the entire medical records, whatever they have, including the medications, the diagnostics, whatever be the reports that they have, the pathology reports, the IPD reports, everything is being loaded in a small app inside this mobile. They can walk inside a hospital, show these reports, get their consultation done. Not only in a particular location, it is being connected across all the networked hospitals. So these transformations we were not aware during the pre-COVID era. So thereby, whenever we interact with the students, so we tell them that the digital presence, especially the digital marketing, the SEOs, whatever we call it, search engine optimization. So this era we are seeing as a great transformation for the healthcare industry, mainly the hospital industry. It is growing phenomenally, more than 22% CAGR. When you look at the other industries, not at this far. For example, IT is growing at say 18 to 19 percentage. Healthcare is growing, phenomenal growth. And whatever I have seen in my experience, there is very less of attrition. There is no attrition in the hospital industry, in the healthcare industry mainly, whether it be it pharma, whether it diagnostics, whether it is hospitals, whatever the various verticals of healthcare, we have not experienced, at least I have not experienced any attrition in this industry. Thereby, there is a lot of things to learn, especially healthcare academics, a lot of subjects to be incorporated. Last week, we had a discussion with one of the faculty of IHMR where we were discussing about the syllabus, particularly healthcare IT, where we have been discussing that there are little some of the changes that are required. Updated syllabus is required. Why? Because lot of things that are going to be learned newly in this era. So for all the students, it's a great thing, and it's a great opportunity for you all to interact with other industry experts. So thereby I cut it short, and please make use of this opportunity. You are in this transformation era. We are also in this transformation era. So thanks to one and all, to all the other people who are here. So thanks once again to IHMR for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru sir. Thank you so much. So you highlighted that yes, post COVID era, I think people are also very much intelligent and they wanted to video consultation. They have they know about EMR, they know health records and all. And you also highlighted the point that there are opportunities, n number of opportunities, and which is open for all the students. And as an HMR, like a industry mentor, you'll also help. You told that during the interns, it is a good chance to understand a hospital sector and how an operation and hospital works. Thank you so much, Guru sir. So my next question would be for Dr. Swapna. Padma Kumar, can you share the screen? Yeah. Dr. Swapna has a qualification. Qualification in general management from IIM Bangalore and healthcare management from Apollo Institute of Hospital, Hyderabad, with a diverse experience across India, ranging from greenfield multi-speciality projects to super specialty care in leading healthcare chains. Experienced healthcare leader with over 15 years of proven track record in P&L management, operation excellence, new business development, people management, greenfield operations, and sustainable process improvement for business growth. Presently, she is working at HCG as a general manager and operational excellence pan-India and has a visiting faculty at IIHMR Bangalore. Welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Deepa, and thanks to the entire team of IIHMR. It has been a pleasure, not just today, from the time that we have been associated with IIHMR, I would say. It's always a pleasure to connect with all the young minds and the talent that we have around. So just wanted, to tell a little bit about how this industry has evolved and what is the space that you have currently in the entire economy with respect to healthcare. So 20 years back when I started this journey, as a sales and marketing head for one of our hospital in Mumbai, I would say that the way that a customer was engaged then and the way the customer is engaged today and the avenues that one has in the past and the avenues that they have now is very, very different. Those days, it was very difficult for a person coming from rural India to get connected to the best of their healthcare facility. But today, through telemedicine and many other facilities that is available, in even the development of the corporate hospital in tier 2, tier 3 cities has made it very, very possible. So all of us, I think, would know one thing. I'm sure that all of us, like as a common sense, we know that wherever there is petrol bunk, there is a development that is going to come around. Similarly, wherever there is a hospital, you're sure that there is a development that is going to come around. It is as simple as that. So if there is a development, there is a need. If there is a need, then there are definitely people who are needed to run the business or to run the healthcare in any sector. You would say private, public, government, anything that you would say. It means that there is a huge need of people. Okay. With respect to operations, I would just like to say one point to all of you. How a hospital is seen from inside and for patients who are top 3 people who they meet in their entire journey. So 3 tripod for business and customer is nursing care, clinical and operations. So these are the 3 tripod and it forms the backbone of a hospital. So for all of you to understand that if there is an opportunity, yes, there is an opportunity, tremendous opportunity, not just in India, but abroad as well. Huge amount of opportunity. I'm sure all of you are already on LinkedIn, must be checking what is there, what is not there. And the new sector that is opened up, as Guru was saying, is healthcare IT itself. So there's a huge development that has been happening in healthcare IT. And And I think that this sector is going to open up for all hospital management student to pursue their career in that area. So people who know healthcare would definitely be the first choice to shift into the IT industry as well. So I think this was the only domain which was left. There was a gap between healthcare and IT. I think that is also bridged through through the last 2-3 years. It has been bridged faster than any time in the past. So I think the topic that that the team gave me, that what do you think is role of a why should somebody do management after all, not just healthcare management? So I just wanted to tell all of you, it's a very, very responsible, both from a teaching perspective and from a student perspective, because this is one step before you step into your journey of not just becoming self-sufficient, but you are also able to contribute meaningfully and significantly to the society and the country at large. Okay. This is one step that will help you to connect whatever you have learned in the past as theory to apply it practically, because management is all about that. Management is not about you read something in physics, maths, and just going to apply it on the ground. Management is about just living those 2 years in a very, I would say, in a control environment, and getting nurtured to step into the world wherein you will be able to perform the same thing that you have learned in management. And IIHMR gives you a 360-degree exposure, I would say, because they give you with respect to public health, field study, they take you to the hospital, they ensure that you go to the right place for your internship, for your projects. You have, they have industry experts who come and speak with the students. So I think it's a very good platform for everybody, to think that one, why management, and then why healthcare management, and I think why IIHMR. So I hope that I'm able to set this context. One more thing that I would like to share with all of you, that what is operations? Okay, I think since I'm from operations, it will be injustice if I do not reflect on that. So in the past, operations was mostly considered as firefighting, ensuring that customers are taken care of, ensuring that the hospital is run well. Currently, and in future, hospital will be run in a little different way. Of course, these form the fundamental, that ensuring that the customer experience is good, the customer journey is balanced, there is safety and security for the patient, the business is run well. But the way it is changing its dimension with the availability of data, that it will become more predictable, more efficient, and it will lead to another level of customer experience and business augmentation. If you see, operations just does not deal with customer experience, it also deals with P&L, cost, everything that you can think of. So extremely important for people who would like to pursue, because nursing, the nursing team is doing a great job with respect to coming together. You can see a lot of people celebrate Nurses Day. A lot of people celebrate Doctors Day. Does anybody celebrate Hospital Management Managers Day or Administrators Day? I think this is what the world has to see in future, and that is the potential that we are all left with. That is the space and the vacuum that we all have to fill in. So extremely important that you can see the amount of opportunity that's there, and you take this thing very, very responsibly. Ensure that you make the most out of it. Ensure that you, every minute that you spend in your campus, every minute that you spend with your teacher, you are able to connect with them, understand what is going to be in the real world. So that is just a message from me to all of you, and I'm sure all of you are going to do great.
Thank you, Dr. Swapna. I think nicely put. Thank you so much. Requesting participants to mute and IT team to look into it. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Swapna. Moving ahead, I think now we have spoken with two industry hospital management experts. I have a small question to Guru sir and Dr. Swapna. Sir, what are the skills you're expecting from a hospital management perspective from a student? Over to Guru sir.
Yeah, see, presently as on date, when you look at, so they need to have a technical skills and a kind of an information technology background for sure. whether be it they are into sales and marketing or operations. In my view, at least they need to have a background and a little bit of knowledge on the information technology. Why? Because that is going to be the future all said and done, whether they are in OPD or IPD or operations. Hope Sapna, am I right? They need to have that.
I'll add Guru.
Please.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. So I
Please add.
think first is a sense of responsibility, because healthcare is a very responsible field. So if you'll ask me, the first talent or attitude that one needs to have is responsibility, and respect for each other. Extremely important. Of course, it is important in any field, but in healthcare, it accentuates because you have patients where confidentiality, their privacy, their care, their safety takes topmost priority. You have to deal with people who you generally do not deal in general with, doctors, nurses. You deal with variety of people from a housekeeping staff to a head of hospital or CEO of a hospital. You deal with, and you deal with government, society. Equally, you have to deal efficiently with everybody. So extremely important for anybody who chooses in this profession to be very responsible and faster response in any field, be it sales, marketing, operations. It doesn't matter. It has to be fast. So that is the bare minimum skill that one needs, I think. The second that I would say is a good know-how of business, government rules and regulations, understanding the safety and experience need of patient, understanding the cost and the financial levers or business levers equally well, because hospital industry generally runs at a very thin margin as compared to any other industry. And extremely important that if it is not run efficiently, then you would end up, either if it's a private healthcare, you will end up giving pass on a lot of cost to your patient, and it will become expensive for them. And given in a country like India, more than 70% is out of pocket expenditure. So it has to be extremely efficiently run business. So one has to have a very good business acumen. One has to be very cost sensitive, and at any given point of time, they should be able to go out of their comfort zone and should be able to help each other. I think rest everything in IIHMR they are going to teach you. So I think these are some skills from my side, just adding to whatever Guru said. And IT is something that I think they will learn naturally. There are small courses, big courses which are available. If you know fundamentals of healthcare, you will be able, and if you're learning IT, I think you'll be able to do great in terms of healthcare IT field wherever you are and whichever field that you are working. Even a doctor nowadays, he understands what AI ML is. Okay. So I think that becomes a fundamental even for a doctor, nurse, be it operations, be it anybody. But I think, Guru, it is equally important to know your field also, that is sales and marketing. It is equally important to know and understand that how these customers will be taken care of, so that they remain within the system and they are attached to the system for very long, and that is the role of operations. So in summation, like responsibility, that any good citizen of any country, the expectation is from a good citizen. The same expectation, I think, is from all of you. So don't have to worry much about gaining a lot of skill outside. You have to look inside is what I feel is very important for all of you to join this field.
Exactly.
Thank you, mentors.
Deepa,
yes,
one small last message I would like to give to the students is that, please remember that in the olden times, biggest will eat the smallest. Today, the quickest will eat the slowest. So thereby, please be quick in responding, as Sapna rightly said. You need to be alert, responsive, very quick in your things. That's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, mentors. Moving ahead, I would like to call Dr. Ms. Arpita and request Padma Kumar to share the screen. Dr. Arpita Agarwal is a BDS graduate and a public health expert. She owns around 8+ years of work experience Currently, she's working as a consultant, Quality and Patient Safety, NHSRC, New Delhi. She's the key responsible person for International Society for Quality in Healthcare, that is ISAQA, accreditation for NQAS, involved in renewal process of the accreditation of NQAS, and responsible for providing technical support in data management, analysis, and report for the state governments. She also supports IIHMR Bangalore as an industry mentor. Welcome, Dr. Arpita.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Arpita, the question for you is, we would like to know your journey, your career journey, and also, do you think the IIHMR curriculum help in the present day career growth and underline the importance of public health in the field of management? Over to you, Dr. Arpita.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And firstly, I'm very grateful to the IIHMR Bangalore for giving me this opportunity to, interact with the students, because I can really very well connect with the situation, with what they are going right now, which I was going through, before past 4 years. So I started my journey as a fellow with NHSRC in Quality and Patient Safety Division only, and gradually I stayed there. I harnessed my skill, and now I'm as a consultant working with Quality and Patient Safety Division itself. So IIHMR is definitely, gives you one platform, because like other mentors like Guru sir, Sapna ma'am, they told that definitely you come at IIHMR as a very naive person. Like you don't know what is hospital, what is the importance of public health, what is IT is about. So IIHMR is one platform which, you can understand, okay, how the hospital admin is, contributing towards improvement of the quality of care. What is the role of public health, in leading the private and public healthcare on a single platform. So this is public health, and IT is something, which gives you an opportunity, so that it is not about, like ma'am said about the operation, how well operations are performing. So, you understand yourself, what are IT importance, how IT is leading. So in your first year, you will come to know, I think, like in my situation, you will also get jumbled up that, okay, should I opt for hospital department? Should I go for public health? Or should I, venture into the IT department? But frequently, or, gradually, once you go on field, or whenever you are into your internship, you will definitely come to know, okay, I should carve my path in hospital administration, or I should go to the public health. So IIHMR is one thing which gives you, like ma'am said, it's a 360-degree view of healthcare industry, because hospital administration, they have their own significance. Public health is, getting the base of healthcare industry. And so gradually, and with the case studies, your mentor support, they will lead you. And apart from this, getting into the technical skill, the IIHMR, the one very special skill the IIHMR taught you is about the communication skill, because being you are a admin or a public health expert, the communication skills are one thing which we as a, clinician, or as a, the graduate people, we are somehow lacking. So IIHMR gives you an opportunity to harness your communication skill. How to interact with a patient, how to interact with the, the boss of an organization, how to deal with the bureaucrat. So that is, sorry, I think I'm audible.
Yeah. Sorry, there was some participant who unmuted. Sorry, Doctor, continue.
It's okay. Yeah. So I think the IIHMR gives you communication skill is one of the very important thing, because IIHMR will get you go into conference, you publish your paper, you interact with the these experts, and ask your query. So somehow you open up that how to communicate. So this is one important thing. And technical skill is, in my opinion, technical skill never ends. So IIHMR will definitely open space for you where you have an idea in a holistic way. So I think the IIHMR has given me a lot, and I hope the same, you will also get the same platform in terms of, technical skills, your communication skills, and you also come to know where your perceived interests are in. So I think you will also get the same thing from IHMR. And public health management. So the third question is about public health. So I think earlier there were only two concepts that take the perception of the service provider and take the perspective of the service seeker. So these were the two important bodies. But like in the COVID era, we come to know the importance of public health, because it is not about only the availability of curative care. Public health is something which paves a path for preventive and promotive care. Like in COVID this COVID era, we came to know the importance of hand hygiene, infection prevention. So what are these? All these are sort of preventive and promotive care. So I think public health is coming up with a lot of opportunities, because in public health, you may start as an implementer, but gradually there are three important roles of a public health expert. You also get involved in the policy development. Once you develop those policy, you come to know, okay, how to implement, what are the implementation challenges when you are at the ground. So you come to know how to overcome these implementation challenges. And the third important part is about the monitoring of program. So public health is something you start from the scratch, then you go to the apex. So public health is something where you work as a health administrator also, then you become a policy maker, you can also become a biostatistician. So public health is something which I feel, or I have perceived in last 5 years, that you can go anywhere. So like a hospital, you can become a quality manager. So public health is also about improving the quality of services. So you may switch to the hospital admin also. You come to know the implementation challenges, the operational challenges. So again, it gives open up opportunity to move to the hospital section. And when it comes to the monitoring and supervision, so yes, definitely the role of IT comes in. So you come to know how to leverage the this uses of IT to actually monitor the program implementation. So you are well versed with the IT tools also. So public health is something which I feel with the time that it is giving you a total experience, be it is working in a hospital, be it is playing with the IT tools, or be communicating, going from facility to the hospital to district to state level. So I think public health is one of my core interest areas, so that's why I'm saying a lot. But definitely this is my view about public health. So I think
Dr. Arpita, public health management can be a one-stop solution for managing hospital and public health. That's understanding what we have got. Thank you, Dr. Arpita. Moving ahead, we have Dr. Thomar, Gaurav Thomar with us. Padma Kumar. Thank you. Dr. Gaurav Thomar is a BDS graduate from Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Awad University. He also has a management degree in hospital and healthcare facility administration. He has 10 years of work experience and a rich experience as a digital health consultant. He started his career in the year 2013 at JP Hospital into operations and continued at Dell, Noida, NTT Data Services, and IQVIA, New Delhi. Currently, he is working as a manager at EY and he supports IHMR as an industry mentor. Welcome, Dr. Gaurav Thomar.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone who all are there on the call, students and industry leaders. And I also take this opportunity to interact with you all and give you a brief orientation what my journey was and how IHMR helped me in this journey. I guess, Doctor, can you please pardon my question?
Yes, Doctor, I would like to say, like, you have a unique experience mainly in the consultant organizations, right? Like in the IT and consultation. So what do you expect from a student postgraduate program support these expectations? And also recently, 3 of our students have been interned with you at EY. So can you share that experience with us?
Sure. I'll start with the first question, where you asked about what we look out for any candidate in consulting.
Yes, sir.
One major point in consulting, which I have experienced since I worked in two of the consulting firms, which are quite big in globally, I guess. So every consulting assignment is a different assignment, and you have to read a lot about those assignments, and you need to do a secondary research. You need to understand those assignments quickly. So a person should be aware of his surrounding. For example, in IT, there are many development taking up in healthcare IT also, like health information exchange, health claims platform. These are the one of the major things which are coming up. So we look for a candidate who have those ability to read and do a secondary research. And after doing that secondary research, he can bring those thoughts on the document also. So there is heavy work on documentation part, on presentation skills. We need to present multiple thoughts, as we are a strategy partner for NHA, or every consulting firm work in the same way. They do advisories, they make policies. So for making them, we need to do a lot of the background research, a lot of the background studies. So every candidate should be good in documenting his or her thoughts on the paper. And with this, I want to highlight need of learning basic tools like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel. They should be well versed on the fundamental of these, and gradually they can learn from basic to advanced. These are the skills are very essential. With this, IHMR can also help them giving an exposure to a lot many, already you interact with lot many industry leaders. And with this, we can give the exposure to the students for field visits. Also giving them a live environment for in their summer training, they already are having it. But I would like to organization to think that to introduce multiple training sessions where they get live environment, they get to work in hospitals or healthcare environment. And right now, the course curriculum also need to be focused on advancement, digital advancement. I could say, like recently, we are coming up nationwide ABDM, which is Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission.
Yeah.
So people need to, our student need to be aware of it. So these are the skills or these are the information which we expect a basic level of information from any student. And for me personally, when I choose my team, I usually see attitude towards work should be very good. And this is one of the basic things which I guess everybody look at. And with my experience of hiring 3 interns, the experience has really been good. And they were quick learner. They worked in a stress position, and we got a major project, and they helped us a lot in that project. So my experience was good. And the most, if you want me to highlight one of the skills for all the 3 interns, so they are laborious and hardworking for me, which is very important and to cope up.
Thank you, Dr. Gaurav. Thank you so much. Highlighting the skill sets, which is a basic Microsoft skills, from that to advancement of like knowing the current trend in healthcare would be an ideal for a student and who interns at consultancy. Thank you so much. So my next question would be to Mr. Gaurav Kumar. Padma Kumar, can you share the screen? Yeah. Mr. Gaurav Kumar is a public health expert. He owns a rich experience of 15 plus years, and he started his career as a district program coordinator of the Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Gujarat. Currently, he is working as a state team lead, NIPI newborn project at Patna and Bihar. He has published a paper on implementing infant and young child feeding practices, counseling centers in Bihar. can support IIHMR Bangalore as an industry mentor. Welcome to you, Gaurav Kumar.
Thanks, Dr. Deepa. At the outset, I would like to thank IIHMR Bangalore for providing me this opportunity. It's always pleasure to be associated with IIHMR and IIHMRian and IIHMR alumni. I'm feeling very honored and humbled to be associated with IIHMR Bangalore, be it virtual or physical. Given the topic which you have asked me to talk, I would start with a quote. They say, book provides you knowledge, but practical learning provides you lifelong lessons. So with this quote, I would like to tell you that IIHMR Bangalore is one of the institutions which provides world-class education, theoretical class, as well as best practical learning through different organizations, which produce actually one of the best students who comes into the field, real life, and they excel with confidence and competency. So overall, if you will see in this IIHMR Bangalore takes a lot of feedback from the industry mentors on time to time on regular basis. For instance, in fact, I would like to share with all of you one story. Last year, I was taking PIME module, Planning, Implementation, Monitoring and Evaluation, which is one of the specialized module in second year for health management students. So during that module, when I was going through the contents, I observed that there was no session on PIP, Project Implementation Plan. But if you are a public health graduate and if you are going to work in public health sector, then you must know how to prepare Project Implementation Plan. So I immediately discussed with the faculty, with the dean in IIHMR Bangalore. She immediately accepted my idea. She reciprocated very well, and she said, yeah, it's fine. So I took class on PIP, Project Implementation Plan. So IIHMR Bangalore is very, very reciprocative in this sense. They take feedback from the current industry mentors. They regularly update their syllabus and curriculum, which is based upon the current scenario of the public health program. In fact, my previous speaker was talking about Ayushman Bharat. In fact, when last time I was taking session, I also included Ayushman Bharat because these are some new components which are coming into the public health, which needs to be taught to all students, because once they will pass out from the IIHMR, they should know. In fact, industry expect, government organization or private organization expect that IIHMRians should know about public health program. They have a lot of expectation from IIHMRian. So we as a IIHMRian should know the basic of every program. Yeah, it's fine. We cannot be expert of RCH. We cannot be expert of malaria program. We cannot be expert of the tuberculosis program, but we should have basic idea of all programs. So IIHMR provides that basic idea. Mr. Garu was also talking about these things. So I would like to add only 2 points. If you have basic knowledge of the program and attitude to works, you will excel in your career. So this is 2 things which I would like to share with my students or those students who are going to join IIHMR. So if you want to excel in your career, if you want to join public health, it's all about preventive aspect. You should know basic things and you should have attitude towards work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gaurav. I think nicely put, attitude and knowledge. I think core competencies, the task that which we say, attitude and talent, skill and knowledge. I think this is what every student can look to excel in the field. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very much. And now our next specialization, which is health information IT, we have 2 experts from that. Let us listen from them, their inputs on industry mentoring. I would like to next call Mr. Subramaniam M. and Padma Kumar. Thank you. Mr. Subramaniam M is a MSc, MTech and PhD from pursuing PhD from Shree Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. He has 20 plus years of experience in healthcare industry, expert in telemedicine, health information technology, data analytics, business analytics, process improvement, and EMR. He has published several articles on HIT telemedicine in journals of national and international repute. Currently, he is working as a senior manager, hospital management information systems, that is HMIS, and telemedicine at Shree Sathya Sai Hospital, and has a visiting the faculty at IIHMR Bangalore. Welcome to you, sir.
Hi, thank you.
Sir, I think I'll take a questions from the chat, sir, which where Vaibhav Patel has asked, ma'am, what skill set should one acquire before joining the healthcare IT and being a medical background? So this is the common questions I think you would get, like being a medico, what to do with the health IT. Over to you, sir.
Okay, the question is, those who are already on the medical side, what is the IT skills that they need to have?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking I was to answer the other way. To me, it is like, why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, the health IT program itself is going to help them on their skills, while of course the basic IT knowledge is something is inevitable that would make them better. While, however, I'm looking at it as, if you are pursuing a health IT course, why do you need to do it? Okay, I see it as a missing link. Having an IT background and kind of currently moved into operations, I see it as a missing link. From a data journey, if you look at, you see it as, it's not just acquisition of data. It moves into, it gets transformed into information. While it doesn't help anybody if just information resides over there, it needs to be assimilated. And what is the knowledge you gain out of it? Ultimately, the journey ends with wisdom. What is the insight that you have got into, which could be applied back in your business scenario, and of course improve the kind of the problem, kind of the processes, or how do you solve the problem at hand? That's what if you cannot measure, you cannot manage, right? So the entire health IT is about that. It's not just about facilitating processes, be it on EMR side, or about use of technology, because of course, as Mr Garu Prasad and Dr. Sapna had spoken earlier, health IT background is essential for any individual who's getting into health management or hospital management scenario. Probably I would go a step further and say, we are in the current situation, you need a CPR to continuously adopt and evolve. It's the customer, the practitioner, the C and P, and continuous re-engineering is required. So your health IT training gives you skills so that you continuously use technology as an enabler, re-engineer the process, and kind of make it a better place, or produce better outcomes, I would say. So it is not just about automating administrative tasks, or say from the operation side, lowering staff cost, or optimizing supply chain for that matter, or be it getting into targeted digital marketing, kind of improving claims processing, collections, etc., etc. All technology solutions are kind of, at some point in time, the baseline would be to cut cost in some places by enhancing the operational efficiency and improving the patient and staff retention. So if you see, the core is in healthcare industry is a patient. So ultimately, it is about improving patient care, and of course, in a revenue model, it's about improving hospital margins. That's what you always look into. While be that may, on one side, if you were to look at patient-centric, are we able to expedite the diagnosis that the clinical team is working on, or is there any impact on improving surgical outcomes? Or, of course, in the COVID scenario, we all know remote access and patient monitoring, can it be done? Or even possibly a step further, you can go to advancing the disease prevention kind of things. So a lot of things are there. So ultimately, I would see it as improving your clinical side, the patient satisfaction and the process of patient getting the treatment. Of course, at the same time, operations side and the administration side, making it better. So there's one line that is running, and then that one tool that which is acting as an enabler is IT, which is going to touch base all of these in administration. So gone are those days where you talk about this balance scorecards only in any other type of industry. So is you ultimately need to work upon your own scorecards from a healthcare scenario as well. At least in my journey, in my kind of dealing with things in our hospital, basically it's a trust-based hospital. We do look at how do we optimize patient waiting time, and we'll go further. How can you have a lean stock management or improving the OT schedules? So because ultimately it's all about reducing the burnout of, or kind of reducing the paperwork that the clinical staff may have to do, be it nursing staff or even at some kind of sometimes doctors. So it improves the surgeon time and the resources that is available. We have also gone further, kind of looking at, because it's a wonderful bed for research opportunities or any other, even other studies that could be undertaken to improve patient outcomes. We have worked on various things, whether it is a post-procedure outcomes, prediction of those, or you have some cases of kind of cross-specialty cases. Recently, we were working on brain abscess in a tough condition, where cyanotic heart condition kind of patients, and see whether we can work on better predictors and things like that. While the baseline is, yes, you start with as a missing link. I would call it as a missing link. Health IT was never looked up as a big thing, maybe 20 years earlier. Implementation of IT solutions for any other industry would go well, but while in health industry, it always kind of acceptance was very tough. But the generation has changed. Having seen various greenfield implementations or having interacted with many kind of EMR developers and vendors, what we have seen is the adoption is becoming better. So I'd say IIHMR has really struck upon the missing link. So this training is what is going to help them grow into better administrators as well. So health IT need not stop with only working with the software and ensuring that implementations are done. That's just the beginning. You would step into operations, quality, be it whatever you want, or you may kind of see there. With your already existing educational background, top it up with the health IT, you can go places. That's my take on health IT. I'm sure, I'm not sure whether I answered your question fully, but this is my.
Thank you, Subramaniam. Nicely put that understanding. See, as a layman, it is very difficult for us to understand IT and health aspect. But I think what the explanations you good we really has helped us to understand it much better. And hope the question have been answered. So my next question would be to Mr. Mukund Kulkarni, Padma Kumar. Yeah, Mr. Mukund Kulkarni is a BE graduate in Electrical and Electronics from Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Technology and also Masters in Healthcare Management. He owns a rich experience of around 15 years, and he started his career as a senior technical support at Philips Healthcare and also worked at Allscript, Epsilon, and etc. He is currently working as a director of quality Landmark Healthcare Bangalore and also with us as a visiting faculty. Welcome to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Deepa.
Sir, you have worked with IIHMR Bangalore from so many years. Kindly share any alumni achievement working with your health IT organization from IIHMR Bangalore, sir.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. Thank you for inviting me to the sessions. Yeah, it's been like 5+ years now with IIHMR, and it's been great experience for me interacting with all the students. So before I take that question, right, I mean, I will quickly touch upon the history of how healthcare IT has evolved. Maybe a few years back, maybe a decade back, It was just a handful of companies who were focusing on the healthcare IT. So it was mainly US and EU-based companies, Europe-based companies like Philips, GE, or Siemens, some companies who were really financially very sound. We couldn't think of smaller companies to get into the healthcare arena because it was the kind of cost involved in the software, procuring the software, the infrastructure, and even the regulatory aspects made it very tough. And initially, when we started off, it was more India was seen as a low-cost software provider, more like a services companies wherein we get some part of the development, some part of testing, and we would do the development and testing and send it across. But right now, there have been quite some changes. Now it's more of product-based companies wherein there are a lot of opportunities coming up, not just the services companies. So it could be a lot of startups within Bangalore itself, and these are all locally grown companies started by the Indian entrepreneurs. Some of the people who have even freshly come out of their colleges. So it could be on the artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning, IoTs. So these are certain areas which are booming now. And of course, they give a very competitive kind of opportunity in terms of the growth, in terms of salary. And now you're not working on some bits and pieces. You're working on the complete product development lifecycle. So one of the challenges which I have seen, at least especially in the healthcare IT, is we typically get people who are good in IT. Maybe I can get people who are good in .NET or Java or any of these kind of languages, or maybe we could even get some people who are domain experts, right? I mean, people who know the hospital workflows. But then again, getting a combination of people who have got this combination with both IT and the domain is very tough. So if you look at it, even now we are struggling to get that kind of a skill set. So being associated with IIHMR, I can tell you with confidence that IIHMR is basically focusing on bridging this gap between IT and domain. So because if you look at it, what we call as the SDLC, software development lifecycle, from the requirements, the design, development, testing, and maintenance, in each of these phases, we require people with both this kind of experience. In requirements, we need what we call as the product managers, who basically convert all the requirements to low-level granular user stories. Then again, we require in the design and development people who can guide the development teams, like the subject matter experts. We need people with a good quality experience who can do the testing, and of course the customer support people once the product goes into maintenance. Apart from that, we also need people who are good in all these regulatory standards like ISO 13485 for the regulatory compliance kind of areas. So right now, these are the areas wherein we have quite some opportunities. So I would want to highlight one of the alumni, who's Jyoti. So in fact, to kind of bring it to one of the questions which was previously asked, right? So they were asking, okay, from medical, what is the experience I need to go into IT? So Jyoti's would be the Jyoti Borkar would be the right example, I would say. So Jyoti basically came from a nursing background. So I don't think so she had a very in-depth experience in IT, but in IIHMR, there are like 3 areas wherein we focused on in terms of the specific subjects, right? It could be on the technical aspects, wherein they learn about the technical nitty-gritties, like let's say the database, what exactly are the softwares which are used, what is SQL, what are the user interfaces which are typically used, and also on the process. Like there are different processes, right? ISO 13485, all those are basically taught, and also on the communication skills. So these are the basic things which we would require, technical, process wise, and the soft skills wise, to get into, for any person with the medical experience to get into the healthcare IT. So in fact, there was another student of mine who got placed in one of the companies I was working in, that's Pushkar. So he's currently part of that company which I was associated with. So if you look at, as I told you, right, the software development lifecycle. So in this above example, the complete requirements till the maintenance. So coming with that kind of an experience, I can tell it with surety that we give as much as practical examples as possible. It's not very textual, wherein we give you some textual questions and you're told to prepare and write those answers. It's very much based on the industry best practices and industry experience. So yeah, so it's been great in terms of understanding the subjects and also ensuring that you are on par with whatever is the industry requirement.
Thank you, Mukund sir. Thank you so much. Moving ahead, our next specialization would be like pharmaceutical management. We have two experts coming from that. First one, Dr. Sajeev Chandran. Dr. Sajeev Chandran is presently serving as Director R&D, Advanced Drug Delivery Research, IVC, Biopharma Lupin Limited. Dr. Sajeev Chandran has also completed his B Pharma honors from IIT Varanasi, M Pharma, and PhD in NDDS, Design and Development from BITS Pilani. He, in his 20 years of research work, he has 7 granted patents and other 20 plus patent applications. He has more than 50 research publications and has delivered over 25 invited talks in national and international level conferences. He is a recipient of FDD Leadership Award 2019 under the Raising Stars category, Young Pharmaceutical Teacher Pharmacy Teacher Award 2008 instituted by Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, and Young Scientist Award in the year 2005 by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Welcome to you, Dr. Sajeev Chandran.
Thank you, Dr. Deepa, for having me here. It is always a pleasure to interact with the faculty and students of IIHMR. So thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, for you, I think the most difficult questions for me, like who is preferable, general managed graduate or a pharmaceutical managed graduate? Over to you, sir.
Well, before I answer that question, I would like to give you a bit of a philosophical theory around that. So if you pursue literature or philosophy, you become good with age, with experience. All right. So, and if you are a science graduate and you continue to work in an area of science and technology, you experiment and become better. Right? You keep on researching, you keep on trying new things, and then you come out better. But in case of pharmaceutical management, or for that matter, in general management, you become better by being very spontaneous to the market forces, right? So the success or how well you do in management is not defined by what you have learned per se, all right, or what your skill subset are. If you do not react spontaneously to the market forces, you're not a good management graduate, is the bottom line. Right? From that perspective, I would say IIHMR is very well placed, because I've seen in the last several years that I've been associated with that. You have been very much focused in acquiring newer or providing newer dimensions to your program based on market reality. Right. So with that background and with that type of focus and intention, you are very much ideally placed to provide the vital skill subset, apart from the management skill, to understand the opportunity in the market or identify a danger in the market and prepare an organization to either exploit that opportunity or navigate in a path wherein you circumvent that obstacle and do well, right? So that is all management about. So from that perspective, whether it is general management or pharmaceutical management, the philosophy still remains the same, whether you're working in a healthcare industry or you're working in a pure IT industry, or for that matter, in a manufacturing industry, the thought processes and the philosophy behind that doesn't change. But then to now answer specifically to your question, not many people know that as on 2022, the healthcare industry as a whole is a $372 billion industry, just the Indian healthcare industry, right? And it has grown over the last several years at a compounded annual growth rate of around 17% plus, right? So, and then out of this, the hospital industry itself constitutes around 130 billion odd, and the drugs and medical devices industry is around 45 billion. And the remaining is a smaller chunk with telemedicine, health tourism, and all that. And the diagnostic is another big chunk, which constitute around 35 to 40 billion. Now, when you look at these three big chunk of the healthcare industry, they're all clinic oriented or a little bit of specialization oriented. So from that perspective, a degree in healthcare management, a very focused, not a very focused degree, a degree with where a lot of general management principles are covered, but then there is a higher impetus to certain level of specialization in certain area, probably is better placed to excel in healthcare industry in general. Right, because if you look at in the last 2021, the last one fiscal itself, that the year gone by, where we had the second wave and the third wave of COVID, you would realize that, and in fact, I would use this opportunity to answer your question using some of the questions that have appeared in the chat box.
Sure,
so one question there was, how many unicorns in healthcare industry? The answer is as of today, there are 4 unicorns. In healthcare industry, and the overall investment that has gone into healthcare startup is around 2.2 billion. I'm not looking at hospitals because they are either a brownfield project or a greenfield project, so they are not classical startups in that sense, because they are like a huge large-scale investment coming in a very planned manner. I'm talking about concept-based or a technology-based idea coming in and becoming taking the shape of a company, for example M-Fine or something like that, or in the highest grosser on the first one was Invoca Care in this particular segment. But then look at the number of deals that have happened, like more than 130 odd deals that have happened in this healthcare startups alone in the last 1 year, which essentially tells you like there is a lot of investor focus in that area. And when you have a lot of investor focus in that area, it is very pertinent that you will have growth opportunities also in that area. And that was another question, that what type of growth prospect I would have if I do pharmaceutical management. Yeah. Now, so it is not the science that drives growth opportunities in any field, whether it is you're a technologist or you're a teacher or whatever it is always the expansion plans that organization bring in, which fuel growth stories, which fuel your growth as a working professional, and it also the investment that comes in, like a very good area, but without any investment, very good field without any investment will not fetch you too many jobs. So metrology is one example I always quote, where there aren't a lot of private investments happening, and for that reason you don't see like a large scale mushrooming of programs around that. You have certain national universities of national repute giving training people in that area, but then not many in that, many in the private sector. But converse of that is statistics. 15 years back, statistics was something which was considered mathematics, an extension of mathematics, not necessarily an application-oriented area which every walk of life is influenced with, right? But today, if you look at the number of organizations, number of institutes offering programs in statistics, whether it is healthcare statistics or biostatistics or analytics or whatever that is. So you understand, like, so when you have investment coming in, you have prospects going up, you have people, there is a demand, and then because of since there is a demand, there is a supply requirement, and then obviously institutes like IIHMR and others are responsible for filling in that supply gap, right? Demand supply gap. So from that perspective, I would say a bit of specialization is required if you want to excel right from the word go in pharmaceutical management. But then what should be that specialization? Some of the speakers, industry experts before me talked about digital IT being a very important tool that is being considered. Yes, of course, if you look at last 20 years, the way IT has influenced, it was never in the healthcare sector that it came into picture. It was actually in the e-commerce sector that people actually, a common man started knowing, okay, I can order something online, right? So it was not the way we got accustomed to IT was through this e-commerce platforms. And then from e-commerce, the next step, and pandemic actually brought in two things. One was the edutech. Nobody believed in the past that you can have academics, you can impart a class online.
Online,
right?
yeah.
It used to be considered a antithesis, like how can a student without going to class get trained? So on most of these offline, online and off-campus programs were scoffed at by most university. But when today, one of the largest universities globally like Purdue or Stanford are offering so many programs online. So that is another transformation. So similarly, a doctor never believed that I can consult virtually, right? There was like till 2019, December or maybe March of 2020, if you ask a physician, can I take a telephonic consultation? He would always insist that if you can walk down to my office, it would be better because I can at least check you. So, but today that concept have also been thrown out of the window. Now, you know that now you can do a virtual consulting. Why virtual consulting? You can even do a virtual analysis of all the medical reports. The electronic data that Mr. Garu Prasad talked about. So everything is on your fingertip and everything can be done. So from that perspective, my take on the question and some of the other questions that were there on the chat box is that you need to be having that specialization based inclination when you're doing any management program, because every problem requires a specialized skill subset to solve, while at the baseline, the management principles still remain the same. But then if I don't understand the IT nuances, contributing in that area would be a little difficult for a management graduate. Similarly, if I don't understand the clinical nuances, managing a clinical trial is not going to be that easy. I mean, it is going, I mean, I will, but then in every walk, every individual is different. You may have different type of learning appetite. So somebody might be a quick learner and within 15-20 days, he would figure out what is required to be done in an area. So those are exceptions. But in a general sense, for the middle section of a Gaussian distribution, which constitute 70% of the population of any student, it is important that you should start looking at a specialization skill subset of your interest, be it IT, be it clinical, be it operation, be it pharmaceutical management in terms of the health, not just the healthcare part, but then the manufacturing or the marketing part of it, or the telemarketing part of it, or the product management part of it, or even running diagnostic franchisees like chain of because right now, if you see, there is another big change, that big movement that is happening is that the way the diagnostics franchisees are mushrooming, or the way the digital health service provider clientele is, because you have companies now who are just purely digital service provider, tying up with doctors, clinics, polyclinics, hospitals, and stuff like that. So depending upon what your interest is, you definitely should think about that specialization as a option apart from general management. But then I would not give up on general management as a primary requirement, because you cannot build a specialization horn unless you have a solid foundation on the general management part. So whether you do a specialization or not, the general management, the general inclination to learn and react quickly to the market force still is very much required. So that would be my take on
so
question.
Dr. Sajeev, it is like you have to be jack of all and also master of one, right, sir?
Not just one, Deepa. You should be master of a couple of allied areas, like so they are all intertwined, like there are many areas. So digital health doesn't sit alone in isolation. It actually sits with operations and with the clinic, right? So you have you have to have foray into the other two adjacencies also. So you need to be a little more cunning in that sense. I would say for every student, you have to be a little more shrewd and cunning in understanding what are those adjacencies, and then grow in all the adjacencies, and then decide what would be where you would excel best.
Thank you, Dr. Sajeev. It's always nice to listen to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Deepa.
Moving ahead, we have Mr. Pankaj Srivatswa, and I would extremely sorry, we are exceeding little more of time, but it seems interesting to learn about all the specialization and especially listen to all the experts. Next with us, we have Mr. Pankaj Srivatswa. He's an author of Battling Career Complexities, founder of Winning Ways Training Consultancy, VP of Marketing and Training, Biotexas Pharma, advisory board member of Pharma, consultant of Sarthi, EC member, LPC, an accomplished sales, marketing, learning and development personnel who has extensive pharma experience in around 39 years. 27 years he has spent in sales and worked right from medical representative to regional business manager, covering South and East into prominent multinational, which is Sanofi and an American multinational, coupled with working as marketing manager, customer support, and also a training manager. Core competencies is in sales and strategy thinking, ensuring 100% implementation of these strategies. Business acumen, man management skills, ensuring motivated field force KPIs needed to achieve the members. And currently he's working with us as a visiting faculty. Welcome to you, Mr. Pankaj. You have many hats on your head. So it's a very pleasure to listen to you, sir. Sir, my question to you is, why do we require a summer internship before actually getting placed? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Deepa. And first of all, I must admit that this last 1 hour, almost 15 minutes have been very captivating. And I was also learning a lot of new things, especially, coming from sales background, training background, and little bit marketing background. Of course, whatever I was listening on public health programs, hospital management, project managements and CPR, and especially what Dr. Sajeev was talking about, the adoption of the digital in the pharma industry, as well as with doctors. Thanks to COVID, I would say that if COVID had not come, the pharma industry as well as doctors were I would say they were laggards. It's only because of COVID, it, hastens up everything. Now, coming back to the question which you posed to me, I would only like to say one thing that, 15, 20 years back, the scenario was very different. The organizations were extremely patient. I'm only telling 10, 15, 20 years back. Before that, when I was a medical representative, the organizations were extremely patient. They used to give 6 months on the job training, right? Yeah. Today, the scenario is completely changed, right? Today, when the organization takes you, they want you to start producing results. Now, if this is the competitive arena in which a person is working, be it in whatever field they are, it is extremely important, therefore, that they should have some hands-on experience when they are going into the industry. So that is one. From that point of view, I think some internship is extremely important. Secondly, what happens is when you are within the confines of any university and studying, basic stuff, and when you step out and move into the industry, move into the corporate world, or whether you are working in the field, it's a very different world. So, internship also, to my mind, gives you an opportunity to get a feel what this working in the pharma companies or in some other allied industries, what is the feel of that? And if you get a feel of, say, 3-4 months, you are better prepared when you are actually joining any particular job. And that actually helps you in building up your resume also, because any organization, when they are going to take you and they see that, look, this person has got some internship experience, they would definitely like to take you as compared to a person who's absolutely fresh, right? So that's one. Another point where I am extremely, I would say, convinced is, any amount of your technical knowledge. I mean, I see a lot of technical gurus who have been associated with IIHMR, but I very firmly believe your technical prowess, all these will only take you in your journey only up to a certain extent. Beyond that, you also need to know the soft skills, your ability to get along with people. Now, summer internship also helps you in learning those initial soft skills, how to get along with people, how to connect with people, how to collaborate with different divisions also. Because until and unless you are able to do all these things, I'm sorry to say, your growth could be slightly stunted. So from that point of view, I think again, summer internship is very, very helpful, which when we joined the professional courses, we were not so, I would say, lucky to have these type of courses, these type of internships, because we learned everything on the job. So that's another thing. Another advantage is, we all have got certain blind spots. I mean, if you allow me to say that, we all have got certain blind spots, and very often, we are not aware what are those blind spots. Now, when we actually step out of the, education and go and work somewhere, you will notice there'll be some feedbacks which will be given to you. And sometimes these feedbacks are so astonishing. I mean, you will never believe that sometimes what strengths I am thinking about myself is actually a blind spot. And I'd like to give you one example, especially for the students. Look, I am an old timer, and I have grown in an environment which was extremely disciplined, right? I hope, Dr. Deepa, I've got some time, 5-10 minutes.
Yes,
Can I?
sir. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I was extremely disciplined. For me, time management was absolutely at most 9 means 9 to me. I mean, being an old timer. And this was a blind spot because I was putting off many of my colleagues because of this strength, which I felt is a strength. So when you actually go out and start working with the people, then you come to know some blind spots also. And that will also further refine yourself when you are actually stepping out into the main job, right? Lastly, I would also like to say that these days, networking skills are also equally important, along with the mentorship. Mentors. I mean, you need to have some mentors. So when you're doing some internship, of course, you will be doing under the guidance of somebody, right? So he will also be able to provide you some guidance, some help. And networking skills also, you will be able to do that. I mean, if I'm working for say 3-4 months in some organization, at least I'll come to know some connects over there also. And these people under whom I am working, they will also be having some connections. And it is also quite likely that if you're working, if you're doing internship in some good organizations, and if they have got some vacancies and they observe you, they will automatically absorb you also, right? So these are some of the advantages of, I think, doing internship. I hope I've not taken more time.
Yeah, I think Pankaj sir, your experience speaks. I think the way you have put down and made us feel important that even simple internship of 1 month or 2 months, how it is very important to showcase in your career, as well as to understand that yes, as a student we'll all be in a comfort zone, that our mistakes are hidden, or it is told to us in a very smooth manner. But I think the internship, we will get a feedback where identifying our blind spots. Thank you, Pankaj sir. Thank you so much on that. Sir, many of the questions are, I think, Sajeev Chandran sir has asked and helped us. But I would like to, one question which is not touched by any one of us as like a home healthcare. Any opportunities, like what do you see the opportunities in home healthcare? That's a question what has been put down in the chat. Probably Guru sir, can you help us to answer this?
You want me to answer? Somebody else?
Yes, sir, you can take it up, sir.
Okay. So I feel with the elderly population growing up, and now many companies are targeting this specific arena, home healthcare. I hope I'm understanding the same, that the home care which is being provided within the confines of the house. Am I right in my understanding?
Yes, sir.
Is this the one?
Yes, sir.
So there is a growing awareness that, look, if you can, instead of patients reaching out, if you can reach out to the patients within the confines of their house, that is something which is very good. Another advantage to that extent is the adoption of the digital medium, right? I mean, you don't have to actually, our persons, they don't have to actually go there. You can do a lot of, like, I would say, certain diseases which are lifestyle related diseases like diabetes, hypertension, etc., where counseling plays a very important role, right? So now that through video counseling, through telecounseling, you can guide these patients. Another thing is, even somebody was talking about telemedicine. Yes, I would say wherever the look and feel of the patients, that's not required. Doctors can do telemedicine through telemedicine also. Yes, I'm just going to close it. Through somebody has given you a yes, through telemedicine also, wherever look and feel is not required, doctors can do the consultation, and lot of chronic diseases would be covered within this. And there are so many now organizations which are coming into this, and they have identified that there is a slot for this which they want to plan. So there is a huge scope for that.
In fact, Deepa, that's an area that probably IIHMR should also have some focused work around, because the concept of the patient going to the hospital is getting reversed with the hospital coming to the patient now.
Correct.
Like and the concept that is coming up is, and in the Western world that has already taken a big leap. They call it community hospitals. So these are not hospitals in real sense. These are a segment of your society becomes a care center for the patient. So in Pune, I'll give you one example here. In Pune, there are few societies which actually have a palliative care and a post-operative rehabilitation care facility as part of their social community setup itself. So the builder, when he is constructing the whole community living space, he has already earmarked, just like when modern community living start coming up in India, the most important components which were attractive were the clubhouse and the swimming pool, right? And the children's play area, right? Yeah. So, and then it extended into a community hall where functions can be done. And now you have an extension of that, logical extension of that, which is this rehabilitative care centers, like so.
Yes.
So maybe that is an area for research as well as for investment in the years to come, because with our life expectancy increasing, the dependency on children decreasing, in the sense children not being available to take care of the patient, parents progressively, elderly parents living alone. That's a big canvas right now to work on.
Thank you so much.
In fact, Dr. Sanjeev, see, these kind of palliative care centers have already popped up in Chennai. It is slowly reaching out to Bangalore. So I'm in touch with a couple of them. So I'm trying to guide them, wherein which they will have a complete nursing care facility, nursing stations. So they will have access to hospitals in the nearby area, where the sons and daughters are not in India and they are in overseas, and the parents are being taken care. I have personally visited during my last visit to Chennai to a couple of that centers. And in fact, if you go and see the website Atulya Care, that is known as, they do it as a home care. So yeah, the charges are a little bit high, but yes, they are being taken care in a very well mannered, because the chemotherapy patients, it's the chemotherapy patients, the dialysis patients, they are being taken care in such kind of, they don't call it a old age home, they don't call it a home care. It is something in between, where it is being taken care as a palliative care. They say the brand name, for example, Atulya Care, that's all. So old age home is a different concept, home care is a different concept, but this is a concept which is in between, popping up which is trying to, as you rightly said, a lot of investment opportunities, a lot of opportunities for, in fact, the students of IHMR.
So I do agree with you on that. Yeah.
Thank you, Guru sir. I think we lost the connection with Guru Prasad sir. Thank you all the experts who have been part of the program today. I think if we start discussing, I think it would be never ending. Like it was like I'm already extended half an hour of the session. I'm really grateful for all of you. Over to Joyce for the next vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're not audible, Joyce. You're on mute.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, dear participants, you can see the feedback link posted in our chat box. Please share your feedback on this event. So dear panel, as well as participants, with that, we reached the end of the webinar. I would like to express my gratitude to the panel who joined us today. Thank you for your valuable insights. I would like to thank the IT department for their timely support. I also remain grateful to everyone who has involved in organizing this event. I would love to recall the name of Dr. Kirti Uday, Associate Professor and Associate Dean, IIHMR Bangalore, for her all-time stand by our side. Last but not the least, I thank the audience for making this event a successful one, and I sincerely hope this webinar was very much helpful. On behalf of IIHMR Bangalore, I bid you farewell. Happy weekend. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.